Hello and welcome to the Midwest Outsiders YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the Glock19. Overall, it's a pretty solid gun. When I think of the term Glock, I think of the term block, and that's basically what this is. This is a block that shoots 9mm. Hardy gun. I want to talk about the cons first. I do this with all my gun reviews. I talk about the bad things first and I end with the good things. Not too many bad things about this gun. When you compare it side by side with other guns, I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of bells and whistles as compared to a lot of other guns. I'm just going to go ahead before we get started here. I'm going to make sure that it's safe. And for demonstration purposes, I do have a mag. That too is empty. That's a snap cap, so I can show you some stuff later. But as far as the cons go, not too many I have about this gun. It doesn't have bells and whistles. That's where I was kind of going with that. Whereas other guns, you see adjustable back straps, you see flag indicator and a firing pin indicator. These don't have those. In its own way, it kind of does, but right out in the open, safe way to determine whether the gun is live or not. It doesn't have too many indicating features. Another bad thing I noticed about it, I mean, I know you can get trigger jobs on these things, but this isn't my favorite trigger pull I've ever had in my life. I don't know, it just seems kind of gritty. That's pretty much it. That's all I got for negativities. I mean, the trigger pull isn't awful by any means. I mean, it's nothing like a double action revolver. It's just not smooth. I don't know how else to put it. When I'm comparing side by side, like, I don't know if you've seen my XDM video review, but I have an XDM here. This is safe also, but like with this one, you've got a firing pin indicator. The Glock does not. It's also got, if you put a snap cap in it, it's also got a very nice chamber indicator, one that you can just rub your hand across. This has a chamber indicator. This little dealie right here, it doesn't pop out a whole lot, but I guess if you really knew your gun, you'd be able to tell the difference. And I'll just show you again, snap cap, what that looks like here. So you'll see it's kind of divoted in right there, and there it sticks out just a little bit, just enough for you to tell that there's one in there. Another thing about this to tell if the firing pin is indeed primed, the trigger isn't all the way back. I mean, and once you fire the gun, the trigger does not reset. So again, that's a snap cap in there, and it does not go back. So, and just by looking at the gun, you can tell that it's primed when the trigger resets. Between that and that, I guess, yeah, those are indicating features. Personally, I don't like putting my finger on the trigger to figure out if there's a round in it or not. Some pros I want to talk about with this gun. Like I mentioned before, this is basically a block of a gun. I mean, it's a hardy gun. I mean, I feel like I can do just about anything to it. Given, yeah, it's a polymer frame, but whatever the polymer is willing to hold up to, I feel like I can do to this gun. I mean, you can see some wear right here already, and I only had this gun for a month. Like, I use it. Why do I have this and a Springfield XDM? Basically, the XDM costs more money, and if I'm going to be beating up on a gun, I prefer to beat up on this gun, and then I'll use my XDM for other things. This gun is simplicity. I mean, there's not a whole lot of complicated features. Even takedown's pretty easy, if I can do it here. I mean, it's not as easy as the XDM. There's a lever here, and there's a lever on the back. Those need to go down while the slide is back. And some people can rack it all the way back. It doesn't really need to be. If you can just bring one side down at a time, just needs to come back a little bit. Then that side locks into place, and if you can get it. So both levers are kind of halfway down, then all you gotta do is pull the trigger and the slide comes off. Pretty easy. Just reassemble it. Simply make sure the grooves are lined up, pull it back, rack it so that these levers come up, and you're good to go. Another positive thing I want to talk about is the mags. The Glock mags, I mean, they're just standard double stack, but they're pretty universal within other Glocks. Like just about every single 9mm Glock, but every 9mm Glock should be able to take another 9mm mag, as long as the mag is long enough for the lower frame. So, like, I got a 30-round Glock mag here. All 9mm Glock guns should be able to fire this. Glock 17 mags will fit into this. Glock 17 mags will fit into, I think it's the Glock 26 is the subcompact. This is a compact Glock. There's three Glocks in every caliber. There's a subcompact, there's a compact, and there's a full size. This is technically a full size gun. I mean, you can get all your fingers on there. There's some hang at the bottom. This isn't much smaller. I mean, comparing the two. This is a compact gun, subcompact. With a subcompact frame, you'll only be able to get 2 fingers on the bottom here. Full size, you'll be able to get all 3 fingers, but you'll have plenty extra room for the pinky. They got that pinky kind of shrunk down a little bit. Most compact guns, it's kind of hit and miss on whether you get that pinky finger on there. I do like the fact that I can get my full hand on the gun and still be relatively small for concealing. Speaking of which, I want to talk about the holster options I have for this, and they kind of coincide with my XD just because of the similarities of the gun. So I can kind of mix and match holsters if I want. The first holster that I got with the guns is the standard Serpa. It doesn't have the lock. They were out of them at the time, but that's my favorite kind of retention holster, is where they got the little lock in there, because I hate friction retention holsters. They catch on your clothing, it draws, but it just sits in there, and it molded for the gun. I do like it for, like, just if I'm farm carrying or whatever, but it doesn't. If you're running or you're jumping, it will bounce in there a little bit, so you want to make sure that retention's a thing with this one. You want to make sure you're able to retain that in the holster. Second form I have is a retention holster. This is actually the same holster that fits in my wife's PK380, and they can mix and match holsters also. But that clicks in there, and that takes a lot to draw it out. Usually I got to use my thumb to pull it out, otherwise it pulls my jeans up with it. Just standard Phobos paddle holster. I don't like this gun because of the way it retains, but if I need it to sit put, if I'm climbing or doing all kinds of stuff, this is a good holster to have. The third option that I have is what I usually daily carry if I'm open carrying. I have a Galco leather holster. This is actually meant for my XD. But because, like I said, you can mix and match because they're so similar, basically fit in the same holster just fine. So I'll carry this outside the waistband. One of my preferred methods of carrying, if I'm kind of going in an area where it's kind of sketchy to carry, I prefer to conceal carry most of the time, and I'll have a hybrid for that. I don't have a hybrid for this quite yet. I have an alien gear one for this. Might work for this, but usually a hybrid's my way to go with the leather and the Kydex. This is the Serpa that I was talking about with a locking feature versus this one. So it doesn't actually, it's not friction retained, it actually locks in places. This is for my XD. And in order to draw it, you have to push this button. And I like that because when you're drawing and you push that button, your finger doesn't slide onto the trigger, it slides north of the trigger. So those are the holster features that I have for, well, these two guns, but the reviews about the Glock. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I mean, it's a great gun. Not a lot of negatives. There are guns better out there, sure, but not many. I mean, this is a pioneer gun for polymer framed handguns. I mean, so it's original with what it does. Universal, unique, fits well in your hand, shoots well, goes bang every time. I mean, that's about all it is to say about it. It's a block that shoots. If you need a go-to gun that you can kind of beat on and it'll be able to stand the test of time, here you go. So with that, I say thanks for watching, and like and subscribe to my channel.